Yo, what's going on, people? You're through to Else. This is TvKO. Thank you for watching, and do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Dillian Whyte versus Joseph Parker is an absolutely fantastic fight that I didn't see coming from anywhere. In fact, there was rumors put out just literally, I think the day before. It's funny because I've got a boxing group, and I put on the boxing group, it was like, breaking news, Dillian Whyte is to fight Luis Ortiz, and I was like, oh, that's a really good fight. I threw it in the old boxing group, and then literally the following morning, a mate of mine in the same group put out a post in the group saying, and it was like a Sky Sports official picture as well, Joseph Parker to face Dillian Whyte. And I was just getting I was just letting the whole process of Dillian Whyte versus Ortiz marinate. I was just beginning to kind of get really kind of excited about that, and thinking to myself, oh, is that a fight I could go to, you know? And then to see that, so that was just like a total left turn, and but not a disappointing one. If you used to say to me, listen, I'm going to give you Dillian Whyte versus Luis Ortiz, but then a day later I'm going to take it away and give you Dillian Whyte versus Joseph Parker, I really wouldn't have a problem with that. And so therefore I don't have a problem with that, with the fight at all. It's for me, it's probably a straight down the line 50-50. I'd probably just give the slight edge to Joseph Parker. I think he's just slightly the more experienced. I think he's got, how can I put this? I would say he just about has more advantageous attributes in terms of his speed. I think he's faster than Dillian Whyte. Durability, they're both pretty tough. Power, they both hit pretty hard. Hard to separate them on that. Experience, I'd give to Joseph Parker only just, because Dillian Whyte has had some big fights himself now, headlined a few fight cards himself too. It's pretty even, although I'd just slightly favour Joseph Parker. I think he's just slightly more nimble, and maybe a little bit more cute inside the ring, but nonetheless, regardless of however you want to break it down in terms of percentages, it's just a fantastic fight, and I applaud both fighters for taking this fight, because this fight, as good as it is, the first thought process that I had, and I always like to reveal what I thought instantly in the beginning once I heard something, and my first thoughts when I heard about this fight was, why though? Like, what does either man have to gain from a victory in this particular fight against this opponent? It's difficult to say. I honestly don't think it does much for either fighter. It's a strange one. Apart from a pretty decent paycheck, both guys are fairly big names within their own right, so I imagine that both guys will be making a fairly decent amount from fighting this fight. However, in terms of what it does ranking wise, does it really do much to propel their ranking? I don't really think so. Dillian Whyte is there or thereabouts with both the IBF and the WBC. I'm not entirely sure where Joseph Parker ranks, although I imagine he is probably still in the top 5 of the majority of the governing bodies. I do not see a victory against Dillian Whyte propelling him into a title shot next, and I don't think it will happen for Dillian Whyte either. I still think there's hurdles for them to both have to jump over in order to get another title shot, which must be very frustrating, especially for Dillian Whyte, who is actually yet to have a world title shot. Joseph Parker, of course, has been a world champion and had the opportunity to unify, but for Dillian Whyte now, it must be very frustrating that he's having to take a fight of this risk, that really doesn't give him much reward. In terms of maybe financially it does, but in terms of actual rankings, I'm not sure if there's any permutations behind the fight that, should the winner win, they get a crack at an elimination fight even. You know, there doesn't seem to be anything in place for that. Another contentious thing about this fight is the fact that it's been made as pay-per-view. For me, you have to get the fuck out of here, man. Eddie, man, you have to get the fuck out of here, man. Like, do me a fucking favor. I mean, unless that undercard is stacked, and there has to be an absolutely superb fight put on that undercard. I'm talking something in the realm of, I can't even think of a fight that you could put on the undercard that wouldn't upsurge that fight. As good as the fight is, that would be good enough. if that makes sense. What fights are you going to put on there that's going to justify that being a pay-per-view? It is never a pay-per-view fight, and that is the only thing that kind of taints the fight for me. However, I don't want to be too much of a hypocrite, because I know in one way or the other I will be watching the fight. So there you go. It's not going to deter me enough to not watch, but it's not a pay-per-view fight. Let's just get that right. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think of this fight and who you have winning the fight, more importantly. For me, it's a really decent scrap, man, and one that I'm already looking forward to. Interestingly as well, usually sometimes with these announcements, the fight is maybe 3 or 4 months down the line. Interestingly, with this fight, it's only next month. So yeah, both guys need to get a move on with regards to their training camp, offshore, which both have started now. And yeah, one for the immediate future. Looking forward to that one. But guys, it's TvKO. Leave your comments below, and yeah, let's have a chat. Peace.